outrage, Xavi! Going straight to Arshavin! It's a hat-trick! From Russia, with love, a hat-trick for Andrei Arshavin on his Anfield debut!
What happens when the footballing lights of your nation are switched off? When the stands lie empty, the stadiums fall silent, and your players are nowhere to be found. This is Russia's current situation when it comes to playing against their own confederation. All that they're left with are the memories of the past, from the stadiums across the cold eastern fields of Russia, to a drizzly night in Anfield and a mesmerizing magician called Arshavin. From the Parc des Princes and the first European Championship to Manchester and Zenit St. Petersburg in 2008. The tapestry of Russian football is one that has unfolded in perfect harmony with its European counterparts, moments of heritage and tournaments etched in the collective memory of the world. Whether for the good or the bad, Russian football was there. Following their invasion of Ukraine, their footballing dreams in Europe have fallen silent, the pariah of the Confederation. So what happens to their football now? Well, that's where things get a little complicated, because ever since their UEFA ban in 2022, Russia has still been playing. In fact, they've been doing pretty good. Huge wins against Syria, Cuba, Serbia, and Belarus, and more matches scheduled against Asian and South American opponents. But throughout all of this, those in charge refuse to join the Asian Confederation officially, even if that seems like not just the only option, but one that their neighbors are welcoming with open arms. Something doesn't quite add up. Why would the Russians continue to play football in no man's land? While they are banned from competitions and flirting with Asia, the football coffers in Russia are still very much filled with UEFA money. In fact, since their ban, they've received more than 10 million euros in what UEFA calls solidarity funds, a payment that is meant to maintain the competitive balance of football in the region, while they miss out on playing in competitions like the Champions League, Europa League, and the Conference League. These payments ensure the gap between them and the rest of Europe doesn't grow to an untenable amount. It seems that the very hand that has barred them from competing is feeding them behind closed doors when no one is looking, a fact that has outraged Ukrainian clubs who were denied similar payments for what UEFA has described as being located in a zone of military operations. But the fans in Moscow wouldn't have cared about any of this when Zenit St. Petersburg came to town in early 2025, 3 years since all of this started. Two teams who have dominated the Russian Premier League since its inception. More than 40,000 fans were packed into the Lukoil Arena as they watched the two giants clash loudly. 4 goals, a red card, and a league that is still churning on the back of funds from the very confederation that is supposed to shun them into silence. And while the ban continues and the UEFA money continues to roll in behind closed doors, their coefficient score has been kept in check. Before the ban, Russia was the silent number 6. Just beneath the leagues of European giants. They've always been there or thereabouts. To maintain their impressive coefficient ranking in comparison to their rivals, UEFA has ensured that each year since the ban, they are given a score equal to the lowest haul they achieved in 22-23, 4,333 points. This, in combination with the fact that they're loosening restrictions for Russia's youth teams, point to a confederation that is keeping the door for their return very much open, and both are simply waiting for the moment they can walk back through it without a fight from the other member nations. It seems that the closer we look, the more we can see that Russian football hasn't been silenced at all, and if anything, it's a ticking time bomb. In September 2025, Putin met with the leaders of both India and China, coincidentally the country's biggest importers of Russian oil, and together they make up the 3 biggest powers in the East. The meeting took place in Kazan, a city towards the eastern reaches of the nation, as politically Russia continues its slow march eastward. a trend that can be seen in its football as well. It's no mistake that right now, every match their national team plays seems to be against countries who are completely removed from the Western sphere of influence. But something doesn't seem to add up. While Alexander Dukov, the man in charge of the Russian Football Federation, continues to flirt with Asia, the reality is that they're simply refusing to let UEFA go. They've snubbed taking part in the Central Asian Football Championship, even though Kafa was convinced they'd be happy to join in. And Zhukov refuses to move Russian clubs into the Asian Champions League, a competition whose prize money to win the whole tournament pays about the same as one match in the European edition. It's beginning to feel more and more like a smokescreen, a temporary solution, as Russia waits out their sentence, and in the meantime offers up a unique opportunity for Asian teams to play against a quality opponent, because at the same time, UEFA doesn't want Russia to go either. The European arena is fueled by layers and layers of football that run deep, and financially, Russian football has always been a huge piece of that giant puzzle. Both Russia and UEFA know this. That's why the solidarity payments continue to roll in, why the coefficient score is kept intact, and the youth teams are given a chance to play. It's a story that Russia will never let go of, and UEFA loses nothing by keeping them in the waiting room, and ultimately it will become a question of morality. Will those in charge be able to keep the money from slipping eastward, or will the voices of the fans drown them out once and for all? At its core, football across Europe is a celebration. When France lifted the World Cup trophy into the Moscow night in 2018, not one player was thinking about corruption or Kremlin politics. They thought only of victory. French fans poured into the streets, not to protest, but to celebrate. But because of the immense grip football has over society, it will forever be a double-edged blade. On the one side are Chavin's brilliance and Russia's greatest floodlit triumphs. On the other, Gazprom, Putin, and a commercial arm wrestle to weaponize the sport that holds people's hearts in its hands. For such a simple game, it can often feel like a serious business. And while UEFA wants to simply let Russian youth teams play the game against children of their own age, that decision carries the weight of politics, history, and war. A time bomb ticks on from that terrible night in 2022, and with every passing year, the fuse burns shorter the closer we get to 2026. What do you think will happen to Russia's football? Do you think they'll slowly work themselves back into UEFA or continue their tilt eastward? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I have so many more videos on the way. I hope you'll be there to check them out. Have a great day and goodbye.